firm. No matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. What a beautiful day, right? Yeah. Please stand and join us.
Coming together to celebrate life, shining like stars in a brilliant night sky. Here for each other in joy and pain. Grateful for this family, spiritual community. Love we share is sunshine after rain. All is well when we are together. Greater, stronger, all is well. All is well when we are together. Deeper, kinder, all is well. Oh, oh, when we're together, it feels like home. Kindred spirits never alone. Let's join voices and sing our song.
You guys are sounding great, by the way.
Music is the food of love. At this table, there's more than enough. In this moment, take a breath and sing along. All is well when we are together. Greater, stronger, all is well. All is well when we are together. Deeper, kinder, all is well. All is well when we are together. Greater, stronger, all is well. All is well when we are together. Deeper, kinder, all is well. Oh,
Yeah, good morning, Unity Renaissance. How are you on this almost springtime morning? You know, it's so funny. I often look over at the piano. I see Richard's big smile, and today I see Nick's big smile at the piano. So they've changed the players, but the smile remains. My name is Christopher Naughton. I'm president of your board of trustees, and we are pinch hitting today for the great and mighty Paula M.E.D.S and Richard M.E.D.S, who are enjoying themselves, no doubt, in New York City today with family. Paula took the train up, I think, Friday. And so, guys, if you're watching, hello. We will not crash the plane, I promise you. I'm sharing the platform today with our lovely Carol Ann. And special treat today, it's always a special treat. Now, when you really need prayer, when you really need an inspiring prayer, who are you going to call? It's not even a question. I mean, look at that. Unanimous. The ayes have it. So Ardell McCoy is our speaker today. She's going to remind us to take our meds. We'll find out exactly what that means. But Ardell's got a very lauded history before she came to Unity, and since she's been here at Unity for many years. Started out native Californian, worked with Michael Beckwith, and learned through religious science about new thought and an expanded spiritual awareness. She has been here for, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years. Yeah, they're a good 20 years. And she's been up here to speak on a number of occasions. And of course, you've heard her dynamic praying from this very platform. And today she works with the Botanical Garden and Chrysler Museum and also teaches kids over at Oscar Smith. So we are so happy to have you today, Ardell. We're looking forward to it. So folks, we just want to start as we always do to affirm what we know to be true. And here at Unity Renaissance, we have our affirmation about life, our vision. So let's join together. First off, let me just say that Unity, for those who may be watching for the first time, is positive, practical Christianity, and we practice it on a day-to-day basis. And let's go ahead and share our vision, if we can, together, all at once, if you will. Our vision is a spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And our vision statement, or I should say our mission statement, is we transform lives that transform the world. And let's just take a moment here together, and let's go inward for a moment. So we know that the world is in a place of turmoil. And I listened to Carolyn Mace the other day as she talked about the situation in Ukraine. And she reminded me, she reminded all of us, that we are there with those folks. We are there with those people. It's not some sort of esoteric disconnect. Our hearts and our souls and our minds are there. So let's just go there in peace and in love now. To the Ukrainian people, to the Russian people, to the hearts of those who want democracy, love, greater awareness, and greater interconnectedness. And I ask you to be in your hearts right now. Be with those people. Feed those people. Uplift those people. Knowing that in togetherness we are indeed all one. And a struggle for one is a struggle for all. And we send that love. And we send that power to them now. And so it is.
All right, let's all stand for our second song.
If you know it, feel free to sing along. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I am one in the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm joyful, so joyful. I am one in the spirit all around me. Spirit all around me. I'm joyful, so joyful. I trust in God.
And it's this time in our service where we say hello to one another and acknowledge one another and acknowledge the divine in each of us. Together, the divine in me greets the divine in you. And we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I am one in the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
Good morning, Unity. Yes, I trust in God. How wonderful is that? Thank you. That's so awesome. Our word for today is glory. Please join me in our affirmation together. My life celebrates the glory of God. Glory fills the world with wonder when I attune my senses to it. I hear it in the sound of waves crashing on the beach and in the resonant harmony of a choir. I see it in sunrises and sunsets and in the beauty of gardens, mountains, and forests, and in the eyes of parents holding their newborn child. I feel glory in the depths of my being at those moments when I understand my life as God's life, living as me. There is no place where my human self ends and the divine presence in me begins. God and I are one. The glory of God is revealed in me as I release the thought that I am only human. God's glory shines through me as the divine presence, the Christ, expressing in my healthy body, my insightful mind, and my loving heart. Our scripture verse today is from Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. And it is no longer I who live, but it is Christ who lives in me. If you would like prayer support today, we have several options for you. For those who are here, we have a prayer chaplain, 2 prayer chaplains available to pray with you after the service. Our prayer chaplains are Grace and Donna. Thank you. After the service, they will be in the chapel, which is just outside the sanctuary doors and past the bookstore. You may also fill out a prayer request form at the prayer table by the chapel, or submit a prayer request on our website, unityrenaissance.org. You may also call Silent Unity, Unity's 24/7 prayer ministry at 1-800-PRAY-NOW. Oh, now pray, 1-800-NOW-PRAY, 1-800-669-7729. And now please rise and join us for the Lord's Psalm. Thank you.
Holy Creator, we praise your name. Your will in heaven and earth the same. Supply our needs, Lord, from day to day. Let your forgiveness light our way. Lead us away from temptation's
hallowed be thy name.
Your will in heaven,
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
supply our needs.
Give us this day our daily bread.
From day to
And forgive us our debts as we
let
forgive
your
our debtors.
forgiveness light our way.
And lead us not to
Lead us
temptation,
away
but deliver us from evil.
temptations
For thine is the power and the kingdom
deliver
forever and
us,
ever.
Lord, into your fold. For all the kingdom, power, and praise, with you began and with you stays. Amen. Amen. Please be seated. When my hands were empty, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? Even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Into my empty hands, gently you poured new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubted
sometimes I do,
or consider giving up.
'cause I cannot see the truth.
I know I'll never go without it.
If I only look at you,
Your deep and abiding love into my empty hands. Gently you poured new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be, and I cannot help but cry. Think of the gifts you given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. Oh, thank you for my empty hands.
house band always knocks it out of the ballpark, no matter what you guys do. Always knock it out of the ballpark. Well, good morning, Unity Renaissance. I'm going to give you my talk today, and welcome to this sanctuary, and welcome to the people that are out there in Zoom. I want to start by talking about a book study I attended a couple of months ago, and it was about Prayer is Good Medicine, and it was written by Dr. Larry Dossey, and some of you may be familiar with him. And he says that medicine with affirmative prayer heals. And I started thinking about that. And I started thinking as I watch TV, the drug commercials come on. You see as many drug commercials as you do Brother Rudder law practice. I mean, they're inundating. So I said, well, let me find out a little bit about the pharmaceutical area. In 2018, the dollars spent on prescription drugs globally was $538 billion, which was an increase of 50% from 2010. The market experienced significant growth. In 2020, pharmaceutical revenues worldwide totaled $1.27 trillion US dollars. Now we have to give it a case. It's probably the COVID meds that kicked in at that time. Okay, but over-the-counter global sales, over-the-counter drugs for global sales was $151 billion. So I'm walking down the aisle in the drugstore, or Walmart, or Walgreens, or CVS, and I'm saying, there are hundreds of meds that we can choose from that we can buy ourselves over the counter, and that's not looking at the prescription drugs that the pharmacist has to give us. And I started saying to myself, what are we trying to cure, to medicate, to change, to fix, to improve with these medications? So I decided to write up a short list, and I'm sure what I say you can add. Headaches, toothache, infection, minor cuts and bruises, joint and body pains, especially when you're getting older, stomach upset, constipation, indigestion, decongestion, heartburn, COPD, allergies, asthma, diabetes, heart problems, dry eye, dry skin, hair growth, hair loss, dietary supplements for weight loss. When I was younger, I happened to stroll into a drugstore in New York. I was in my teens, and I pulled him aside and I said, do you have any weight on? You know, and he's saying, weight on, and everybody's looking and like I'm snickering down because weight on was the thing when you were undernourished, or underweight at least. But does anybody remember the TV commercial for tired blood, take Geritol? Okay, so let's not forget the meds that we take for depression, to fall asleep, to wake up, for energy, for memory improvement. We take opioids after serious injury or surgeries to moderate the pain, and then we take meds to get over the opioid meds, right? There's always something. And, not finished yet, we get vaccinated to be immune to smallpox, polio, tetanus, whooping cough, pneumonia, measles, diphtheria, chickenpox, shingles, the flu, and now COVID. TV commercials are notoriously showing us these beautiful little shorts about how people look beautiful and they're on vacation and they're having a good time if you take these meds. But when it comes down to the side effects, it goes double time, short period, and you never really get to hear it. Pharmaceutical companies are worth something. They do research, development, production, distribution of drugs for our psychological and physical health. And I'm grateful for the medications that are made available to us. But Mary Baker Eddy, who is the founder of Christian Science, says, health is not a condition of matter, the body. Health is a condition of the mind, okay? So if we take meds for a healthy body, we should be taking meds for a healthy mind. So I ask, Did you take your meds today, your M.E.D.S, your meds? Did you take them today? Wait a minute now. I'm not pitching the sale of snake oil that cures all that ails you. However, I am representing spiritual mind treatment, and here are the meds that I recommend for a healthy spiritual mind. First of all, for M, I start out with meditation and / affirmative prayer. Meditation is to awaken us to the awareness of the God within, the certainty of our oneness with the whole. There is no separation. And if you read the Bible, in the beginning was God, and with God was the Word, not God and. So there's only God. The meditation expands our capacity for expands our consciousness and increases our capacity to intuitively receive the guidance of spirit. And I know that because when I was struggling on what I'm going to talk about, I had to sit still and say, okay, here I am, spirit, download. And it comes. It does come. If you just ask, it comes all the time. It brings peace and harmony and heightened sense of love in my life. When I'm in meditation or prayer, I'm feeling so elevated, I'm in the upstairs of my consciousness. You know, sometimes you're in the basement, but I'm in the upstairs of my consciousness. And meditation, we become knowers of truth, that there is no separation, there's only one. Under the M, I have mindfulness. Well, being mindful is spending time with spirit in meditation, naturally. Being intently aware of what I am sensing and feeling in every moment. Being non-judgmental, but being curious and kind. Being mindful allows me to discern if the thoughts I'm having are mine, or am I unconsciously attracting the collective consciousness or groupthink from the outside sources. For instance, like my family, my friends, newspapers, website, TV, radio, podcasts, so on and on and on. When I start judging or engaging in what I call stinking thinking, I have a consciousness cop. And that cop pops up and says, stop in the name of love before you hurt yourself. Thoughts are things, and we attract what we think about. So we have to watch what we think about. Let me go to affirmative prayer. In Larry Dossey's book, Healing Words, he says, experiments have shown that prayer, in fact, positively affects high blood pressure, wounds, heart attacks, headaches, and anxiety. It also is shown that the thy will be done approach was quantitatively more powerful than when specific results were held in the mind. A simple attitude of prayerfulness seemed to set the stage for healing. Now, I have an experience with that. In 2021, I had a friend that I did Tai Chi with at the Botanical Gardens. I ushered with his wife at the Sandler, so we became friends. And when I had knee surgery, they were there to support me, bring me food, take me out, just wonderful. He lived in Virginia Beach. He was an ex-Navy SEAL. So he'd been around and been through a lot of military affairs. He needed open heart surgery. Well, the COVID time was interfering with his scheduling, but he got so bad that he had to go ahead and have the surgery. It didn't go well, and they had to leave him open, and he was in Centera Heart IC unit for almost 3.5 months. But here's the thing. I would always get a text every morning with his blood pressure, with what was happening with the fluids in his body, what his blood count level was. So I was doing prayer against those things. I had slipped into the basement, and I was praying about let his blood pressure go down, let this go up. And all of a sudden I realized after a while, wait a minute, stop. It's about what is his highest good, not about these issues that were happening, and I was getting them daily in a text. And I realized that I can't look at that text and read about what's happening with him physically. It was about his highest good. Now, yes, he did transition, but that was it. I spoke a couple of months ago about if a caterpillar came to me for prayer to stay as a caterpillar, we'd never see the butterfly. So we have to allow what's the next best order for that person, that individual, to transpire. So that's my story about my military friend. I do an affirmative 6-step prayer. It used to be 5 for us at Science of Mind, but it's a 6-step prayer. And I'll tell you what it is. We start out with gratitude for what is good right now, being grateful. And I'm going to tell you, when I do that, gratitude lifts my consciousness to another level so that when I go into recognition that God is all that there is, and unification that if God is all there is, then we are all one with it, then I'm feeling like I'm floating on that higher cloud. And then my realization, the quality and back of the form. With this friend that was the military, his name was Jake, it's not about what was happening on the physical, it was about knowing that God is all that there is, and he was one with it. And if it was time to transition, then it was time, but it was his highest good. And I have to tell you a story about that. Then I go into Thanksgiving for the truth be spoken that I've spoken, and I release it into the law of divine activity. And I usually say that. Now, a couple of weeks after Jake made his transition, I've been dreaming about people that are dying. I don't know why they keep coming to me in dreams. I was dreaming that Jake was sitting on my bed, and he was laughing and happy. And I was going through a nervous breakdown because what are you doing in my bed? So, thank God it was a dream because, his wife is my friend, and you're in my bed. And I woke up, I'm so glad to, and he wasn't. It was, Okay, let's go on to E. Do you exercise daily? Being active is proven to have many health benefits for us physically and mentally. But I want to go to environment, my physical environment. Your home should be your sanctuary supporting your spiritual growth. You should be grateful, or at least I'll tell you my story. I am grateful each time I walk in my front door. I am free from bombs that we know that somebody is going through. I'm free from fires, from the flooding, from hurricanes, from tornadoes, and earthquakes. Now, I was living in Santa Monica during the 1994 earthquake. There was a 6.7. That's a very powerful earthquake. I had an N-unit townhouse with a loft, so that means my ceilings were high. That earthquake hit at 4:30 in the morning, and it was a punch up, so it knocked me out of bed, but it wrecked my place. It snapped the hot water pipe because it was rigid and not flexed, so it broke in half. The place was flooding. It warped the sliding door track. It shattered mirrors on the wall, turned the refrigerator over, et cetera, et cetera. It wound up being about $25,000 to redo that unit. But the point is that when you have a 6.7 earthquake, you have thousands of tremors afterwards. I slept in the hall of my home in a sweatsuit with a bag ready to run because you never know what's going to happen. I am grateful when I walk into my little house flat on the ground. I'm grateful when I go in the winter and the heat's on. I'm grateful when I go in when the summer, when the air conditioner is feeling. I'm grateful that my energy is there, that it wraps me in a cocoon. And if you're not feeling that, you need to get your environment together. You need to put your place there. Put an altar in a corner somewhere. Let that be the place where you do your meditation and your prayer work. Put spiritual artifacts on your altar that make you feel good. Plants, put a candle. But do something so that when you walk in, you say, thank you, God. I am home, because I do it, and I'm telling you, it is the best thing. I'm in prayer when I'm in my house. I just stay in that upper consciousness. I like to call it the upper room. I'm recommending it. It's the best thing. Let's go to D, diet. Do you nourish your body and hence your soul? The AMA recommends plenty of fruits, vegetables, with a portion of grains and protein, and I'm trying to learn that. But if challenged with weight gain, meditate, pray on it. I pray on everything. The spirit within can and will guide you, but we must do the work. Now, maybe it's Noom that it guides you to. Maybe it's Weight Watchers that it guides you to. Maybe it's bypass surgery. I don't know. But whatever it is, take it to prayer. Go into meditation and feel it out. And don't forget water. I have a tendency to forget water in the winter. Our bodies are 60% water. We should be drinking 60 to 90 ounces of water. I think I drown, but per day, or whatever's recommended for your age and your sex. But let's move on to divine mind. In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes describes divine mind as, there is no such thing as your mind, my mind, his mind, or God's mind. There is just one mind in which we all live, move, and have our being. Mind and spirit are one and the same. Now we know that God uniquely expresses itself in every living thing, and it never duplicates any of its creations, not even in a snowflake. Our unity salute, which we said today, is, the divine in me greets the divine in you. Do you greet the divine in the people you meet outside of unity? They may not look like you. They may not share the same culture, beliefs, or party affiliation. But we are all one of the same one divine mind. Last Friday night, we had a film by M.E.D.S called Becoming Nobody. And he advised us to treat everyone you meet like they're God in drag. I think he's trying to say that the God in me or the divine in me greets the divine in you, even though there's somebody out there and you don't like what they're doing, because there's only one of us here, and that's God, don't forget. We don't have to like what's happening. We don't like what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening between the presidents, but God is there, and we have to know that. So the last part of M.E.D.S is service. Paramahansa Yogananda was an Indian Hindu monk, yogi, and guru who introduced millions to teachings of meditation. And he had in Southern California a self-realization center, and I used to go up there and sit. It was beautiful to just be in that space. But he says, life should be chiefly service. Without that ideal, the intelligence that God has given you is not reaching out toward its goal. When in service, you forget the little self, you will feel the big self of spirit. So let's talk about sacred service. That's meditation in action. Desire to be of service, asking nothing in return, it's its own blessing. And Chris mentioned that I volunteer. I've been a volunteer at the Chrysler Museum for almost 20 years, with kids coming in, with adults coming in. The research and the planning for a tour, it takes time. I'm on this, my library is full at home of books, and your internet work, it takes a lot, but I love doing it. It is a service, and there is nothing that you need in return. Sacred service is selfless giving of your time and your talent. Be open for Spirit to use you for service to the community and to the planet. We don't just do sacred service here at Unity, it's everywhere. Yeah, I probably do less service here than I do out there. Spiritual community, AKA Unity Renaissance, allows for fellowship with like-minded people who support you for your highest and greatest good. Okay, M.E.D.S was talking about freedom. He says we have to allow people to be free in order for us to be free. Well, you know, everybody out there is not going to support us for our greatest good, but we know how to go within and realign ourselves with that inner spirit. We know how to go into our sanctuary and beast and leave all of that outside. That's why we need a sacred sanctuary to be able to go into. When the rough gets going, we can come home and we have our space that nourishes us, that lifts us, that keeps us feeling centered and in tune with the infinite. This is what our life is about, being in tune with the infinite. Support your spiritual community. As we mature in our understanding of the law of circulation, we realize our financial resources, talents, and skills are at the heart of tithing, supporting our church's mission. And as we said today, the church's mission is to transform lives that transform the world. We have to support that. That's what our financial resources are. And you know something? If you bless every dollar, every check that you spend, it comes back triple, 4 times over. Years ago, when I was making $330 a month in Santa Monica, I was a clerk. This was way back in the 60s. And I was on the cusp of getting involved with Science of Mind. And Hornaday was alive at the time, and he was talking about, people want to be a millionaire, but they can't even embody. How can you attract what you can't embody? You can't. And I said, well, no, I don't think $1 million, but I think I could embody $50 more a month. Do you know within a month they did a reevaluation of the jobs and I got that $50? And I said, oh, I was on a roll. I'm going to tell you, I practiced that. I retired at 55. I earned more retired than I ever did working. So I feel like this stuff works. I'm sharing with you things about me that I know works. I blessed every check before we stopped writing checks. Every check that went out got blessed. I stopped thinking about, my bank statement says I only have this. I don't want to live down to what I have. I want to live up to my potential. I want to live up to knowing that Spirit is there to support me, that my outflow can never exceed my inflow. That you have to work on in your meditation, in your prayer work. You sit still and you embody that consciousness. That's what attracts this to you. If you can't embody the consciousness, you can't have it, folks. Okay, so spiritual study. At every stage of growth on the spiritual path, we must maintain a beginner's mind because spiritual truth is limitless. We can never plumb the depths of spirituality. We don't have a clue. We're just scratching the surface right now. We're just trying to continue to figure out, is Christianity real? Is it expanding or is it contracting? Are we becoming more against other religions? Everybody is out for the same thing, all religions around the planet. They're all trying to grow and expand and get closer to that at one minute. Practicing the presence is our key. Spiritual study increases our level of understanding and accelerates our spiritual evolution. So, if you haven't taken your spiritual meds today, I suggest you try some of these for healthy, pain-free spiritual growth. They are addictive, but they do not create negative side effects. They are available without a doctor's prescription. And being a very generous spiritual oil salesperson, if you will, I'm offering these meds to you, and for today only, they are free. Namaste. So, before we go into meditation, I always like to do a little prayer. How grateful I am to be here into this sacred circle. How grateful I am for that wonderful energy that has flown in and around and through me. I am thanking you for being here, for being with me during this journey of giving this talk. And I know that God is all that there is. It is the one presence, the one power circulating in and everyone. We are all one with this magnificent isness, shot from the mind of God into each and everybody that we see here. knowing how wonderful it is to know that God is our life. I realize and know that this church continues to expand and grow. We have a beloved ministers in Reverend Paula and Reverend Richard. We have the house band that rocks us out. We have people volunteering here to keep the services moving, the popcorn coming, everything that we need for that wonderful Friday night movie. We have the bookstore that's open to us. We have the people that are running the camera, the PowerPoint, the Zoom. How lucky can we be? This is our sanctuary place, and I'm glad to be standing here feeling this marvelous energy that is surrounding each and every one of us. I bless each person that has called in for prayer, who is going through psychological, physical changes, knowing that anyone and everyone is in their highest consciousness because God is all that there is. There is no acknowledgement of anything outside of the perfection of the power and the presence that created all of us that are here now. And as I release this word into the law of divine activity, I know it cannot return void. I have said it indeed, and so it is. And let's now go into our statement, our sense for prayer, for meditation. And as we bring our attention back to this room, we're so grateful to spend that moment in time with the infinite.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Ardell. Of course, we weren't expecting anything less, you know. Wonderful talk this morning. So let's get in that place that Ardell was referring to. I loved what you said, something about lifting ourselves and raising ourselves up to the spiritual prosperity. And I loved how you said you bless every check, you bless everything that goes out and everything that comes in, and it raises our vibration, and we don't pay attention to a number per se. We're above and beyond that. So there are many, many ways that we can give to this wonderful ministry. You can certainly put it in a bank draft. You can leave a check in a basket at the back of the room. You can go online. You can use our app. But I think the most fun way to give is through our smartphone by texting GIVE to
540-418-1228. Text now. Yeah.
Wow, a cappella today. Wow, wonderful. And again, a reminder, you can also go to Tidely online and give, yes, and checks as well, sure. Checks, cash, we'll take almost anything, right? No tin cans, but anything. And again, that basket is at the basket.
Give and it's giving back to you. Give and it's giving back to you. Give and it's giving back to you. Press down, shake it together, running over. Back in good measure is giving back to you.
You turn your news on, you get your blues on from all the negativity. It's hard to wrap yourself around what's going down on TV. You can stress it, second guess it. You can think about it way too hard. Or you can move the conversation from your head to your heart. Sometimes it's a matter of just letting go and holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins, love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson worth learning again and again. Love wins. We all matter. It doesn't matter if we're on one side or the other, as long as we find a way to get along with one another. We can agree to disagree, or maybe even realize that you see another point of view when you look through someone else's eyes. Sometimes it's a matter of just letting go and holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins, love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson worth learning again and again. Love wins whenever we give it a chance. It is the one hope that everyone has to build a better world for us all. Love wins, love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson worth learning again and again. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love wins. That's where it
I was just turned to Ardell, and she said, "Don't we have an amazing house band?" I said, "You better believe it." Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Well, if you're new to Unity Renaissance and you're here for the first, second, or third time, please raise your hand and let us know which iteration that is, 1, 2, or 3. We're going to have some of our volunteers come around, and if you don't mind keeping your hands up, we will go ahead and bring a gift to you in one of the many bags. Welcome. Welcome to Unity Renaissance. Great to have you folks here today. Yep, over here. Got a number 1 over here. All right, Carolyn.
So March 13th, we're starting the gift of encouragement, a little help from our friends, and you're invited. This is a 21-day program to give and receive encouragement. And so everyone is going to receive or be given an encouragement buddy. So you can choose a buddy, or we can assign you a buddy. And for the 21 days, we're going to text each other an encouraging word every day. And so you can register with a partner or individually, and we will pair you up on our website, or you can sign up on the hall wall. And on the 13th at 7 p.m., Reverend Paul and I will be hosting a Zoom introduction. So we're going to answer any questions that you have, and then we're going to take you through a guided meditation. So join us.
Wonderful, wonderful. Got a great class coming up here with the mighty Tom Baker and the Reverend Paula McDeasy. And rather than me talk about it, let's hear from them.
Tom and I are super excited to be bringing this class to Unity Renaissance called Breaking Free of the Ego, and it's based on the Eckhart Tolle book, A New Earth, best-selling book. It's more timely than ever. Tom, why do you think this class is important now?
Well, we're in a period in our development in which we're kind of going backwards rather than forwards. We're kind of stuck in that right now. We've got a war going on, and we've got a war going on within our own country and within our own hearts. We're using a map called the ego to try to find our way, and we're only going in circles, and now we're going against one another.
This book is like a roadmap to a higher consciousness. And I love it because I think of this quote, you can't solve a problem at the level of consciousness that created the problem. If we look at all of the issues in our world today, it's like we're going head to head at the ego level. And the only way out of that is to come up in consciousness. And this is the perfect book to help us do that. You can certainly sign up for it here at Unity Renaissance. The easiest way is to go on our website, unityrenaissance.org, or you can download our app. Our Unity Renaissance app makes it very simple. And the class is going to be on Wednesday nights for 5 Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. starting on March the 9th. We're going to do it in person as well as online. We're super excited, aren't we?
We're super excited.
And we're super excited as well. Again, this Wednesday, join them.
Okay, we have our annual dinner and auction sponsored by the Mighty Men of Unity. Let's give them a hand. So that will be 6:30 p.m. Friday, March 11th. Doors open at 6 p.m. for the silent auction. There will be a St. Patrick's Day feast of Irish chili, rice, and more. It's $5 per person, $20 per family. The auction begins at 7:30 p.m. with YOU dinner. You can bring your donated items to church today. Or you can call Ed Rosequist at 757-621-9554 to donate services. All the proceeds go to the church and to all the projects going on here, so join us for that.
Wonderful. I have my cheat sheet right here. Oh, yes, next week, the Reverend Paula is going to be speaking on Watch Yourself. And also, it's New Member Sunday next month, so next week, I should say. So after the service, the YOUers are going to be holding a book sale and to raise money for the YOU Spring Rally. And so they'll be accepting books, any good books in good condition. Please drop them off in the YOU room anytime before March the 13th. Our teenagers will have tables of used books for you to browse and purchase, only $2 a book. All the funds will go directly to supporting the YOU travelers and to the spring rally.
Join us for lunch after the service today. There will be spring rolls and homemade fried rice. Sandwiches are also available. Tea or lemonade and dessert is included, and they've been cooking up a storm out there.
Yes.
The requested love offering is $5 per person, and we just want to give thanks to our new cooking team. Give them a hand. Thank you, thank you.
Yep. And that is a new regular event every month. So yes, join us in Meyer Hall for that today, and I'm told that there are soy-free products in today's lunch. So let's do this because he has dressed for the occasion. I'd like to introduce Jack Moriarty up to the stage. Talk to us about volunteerism.
Sorry. Good morning, Unity Renaissance. I'm Jack Moriarty. Gary Thornburg asked me to talk about volunteerism this morning. I've been involved with Unity for 35 years, but I've only been a volunteer for 5 years. It's made a tremendous difference in my life. I'm a better person. Currently, I'm an assistant Unity youth education teacher, an usher, and I'm active in a Unity men's group, Mighty Men of Unity. Whenever I'm asked to do anything around here, if at all possible, I say yes. Why do I do it? Do I do it for the children? No. Do I do it for the congregation? Do I do it for all of you? Sorry. No. Do I do it for God? No. I do it for myself. I do it for my own spiritual growth. Last year, my favorite lunch restaurant closed. I couldn't believe it, okay? There's a sign on the door that said, closed because of a lack of staff. Now, this was a successful, long-established restaurant with a loyal following. You could barely get a seat at lunchtime. I mean, it closed, you know? Every business needs a stable workforce. We don't think of Unity Renaissance as a business, but Unity Renaissance is a business. We not only have a minister, Paula, our spiritual leader, we have Paul back there, right? Yeah. Our business manager. Have you ever noticed whenever you see Paul, he looks really busy? That's because he is. He has a big job with no boundaries. Just like a restaurant needs a stable staff to provide meals for their customers, Unity Renaissance needs a stable staff to feed the spiritual needs of our congregation. We are expanding. Not only physically with our new addition, but our congregation is growing. I teach the 2nd through 5th graders. Last week, we had 15 students in that class. I've been doing this for 5 years, and the most kids we ever had in that class before was 9. During the pandemic, we were lucky to get 4 to 6 kids every Sunday. In business, we call this a leading indicator. Our message is getting out to the community. We are growing. We need volunteers. Good news. Unity Renaissance is hiring. And we don't pay the minimum wage. No, no, no. We pay the maximum wage. You can get as much out of your volunteer experience as you choose. I think that has something to do with unity principle number 3. B gave me this. Let me see what it says. I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. Everyone here is on their own spiritual path. I learned from the late George Rice that volunteering is a critical part of your spiritual development. So be selfish. Do it for yourself. Volunteer. I guarantee you'll be a better person. You'll be a better person. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. And he sounded as good as he looked, right? Today. So, I'd like to bring Nick Hill up of the music team. He's got a few words, or actually can stand right there.
Thank you so much. In the spirit of volunteering, I just would like to extend the invitation to the entire congregation. The Unity Renaissance Singers are back up and running. That is our full adult choir, and we are looking for volunteers. We would love to see more gentlemen coming to join us. So if you are interested in singing, if you like to sing in your shower or in your car, or maybe you are just interested in getting more time with Nick, in the words of Mel, choir is where the cool kids are. And so I just would like to extend the invitation to everyone. We had our first rehearsal last Thursday. It was amazing. If you are free and available, we rehearse every Thursday afternoon in this room at 7 p.m., and we would love to have you join us. We are preparing for Easter, so yes, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to come see me at the end of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And now, with the music team's help, let's welcome in our children.
We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. Look at this platform of shining stars, also known as our youth up here. Yes, and we, and not to mention the awesome teachers. So who would like to share what they learned today in their classroom? Raise your hand, okay? I'm going to go over to the kindergarten through first grade class first, okay? And Audrey, would you like to share?
We learned about being unique.
Thank you, Audrey. And Ariana, how would you like to share?
We learned about being kind and being a star.
Oh, thank you. And Willow, how would you like? Oh, what do you have there, Willow?
We made boxes and we made stars I was the only one in the class that bought my box.
So families, our children are very excited about their 40 for 40, and they've actually started decorating their 40 for 40 boxes, but they're going to take them home, and they look forward to bringing them back. And I think we have a few students up here in the 2nd through elementary class that would like to share too. Who would like to share? Oh,
I'd like to share what we did with our collage. We learned about where God is, and so we put different pictures from magazines and calendars as a collage for where God is. Toa, would you like to show them a couple examples? God is in this box. God is in all these pictures.
Thank you, Toa. Thank you. Oh, and we have Sienna and Coco would like to share. After you're done, you can pass it to Sienna.
I am the radiant life of God.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Uniteens. Do we have a uniteen that would like to share what they walked out of the classroom with today? Any uniteen at all? No hand. No, any uniteen. Come on up. Come on. They can't hear you back there. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
We learned about Lent, the season of spiritual growth, and $40 in 40 days.
Thank you, Thomas. And I think we have an announcement from one of our YOU students or graduates.
Today we just sat around, we talked because it's the first Sunday of the month. We had our Talking Stick Sunday. We talked about what really made us happy, and we just had a few laughs. And then we also talked about how next Friday we have the dessert auction for the YOUers to go to help fund going to Raleigh. And then next Sunday we have our used book sale.
All right, thank you. All right. And on that note, and we are about to begin our, I'm sorry. Did you want to share it? Oh, go right ahead. All right, and now we begin the prayer for protection. Thank you, youth. Thank you, teachers.
The prayer for protection.
Okay, you all know it. The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.